Hello everyone, welcome to the final episode of our Harley Quinn sketch. I am your fellow Blade Runner, Peter Stockbridge, and yeah, so we've done quite a bit, and I have taken it, slightly slower than I would probably normally do in terms of me sitting down and actually doing it. And what I mean by that is it is just 1 hour sessions, and usually what I do is I sort of thrash out about 3 hours worth, and then break them down into 1 hour sessions and then double that speed to half-hour sessions. This time around, for this particular episode, I've sped up this footage by 2/3. This is an hour and a half, and it's been squeezed down to roughly half an hour. Just because I did a lot this session, and there's probably sort of quite a bit to talk about in terms of how I've ended up approaching various remaining issues for the sketch. So usually, yes, I do a big session and then break it down, but for this time, yeah, I've tackled it an hour at a time, and not that I was dreading anything. It's just that I was recovering from my operation, and I wanted to take it easy a little bit. I needed to also work on my announcement video, and you may have already noticed a slight change in the intro sequence. It was something that I've been tweaking, and I wasn't going to sort of introduce it until January, but I thought, sod it. So the first shot that you see with the disclaimer, that is the new 3D gallery. Yes, I've been working on redoing my 3D art gallery behind the scenes for 2022, and I'll be showing that off with the announcement video. So that's going to be early January, first week of January. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be very, very exciting. And that is basically what I'm going to be working on for the entire of 2022. With other things as well, but this is the big project, the big series. I cut my teeth with the Joker series, and with the Kylo Ren widescreen sort of, landscapes sketch that I did for him. I want to sort of do that as a series, and so I'll be announcing what movie series I'll be doing for that, basically. So I've been working on putting the shots together in Unreal, the Unreal Engine for the announcement video. I'm trying to manage my time carefully with my, health and whatnot. And we will sort of end up being at a point where I will have run out of time, and I have left this section at the very bottom from the waist down, and I won't be doing that just because there's simply just not enough time, and I really want to get this finished today, but I can't spend any more time on it just because I simply don't have it. I know how long it takes for me to sort of edit and render and upload and all that kind of thing. So yeah, with everything else that's going on, with my schedule, etc. Yeah, but it is it's not something to sort of freak out over at all. It's just it'll look awesome, don't worry. So yeah, I've done the bulk of the lettering on her baseball bat. I'm just sort of going in and adding some proper detail. I'll be darting back and forth from the t-shirt to various other things. My mind's all over the place, so yeah, I'm just looking at various issues that I've sort of mentally written down in my head that I need to do, and then sort of sharpening and stuff of my pencils. Okay. So the priorities here is finishing off the t-shirt, doing her gun belt, her holster thing, making sure that everything kind of looks generally okay, Now, I'll be honest, I could easily spend another few hours on this after the end of this episode. But there are other things I really, really need to move on and get and start, basically. So I'm just replicating some of the signatures on the bat here. I'm really just concerned about the furthest sort of 2-3 signatures. I've replicated them fairly accurately, but I've kind of gone a bit vague with the ones that follow. But it lends to that sort of, that attention to detail. So it's the gun holster now, and the sort of the handle of the gun itself. So I've mentioned this before, but this has been a really enjoyable sketch to do, and I hope Cheryl likes it. Doing this symbol on the handle of her gun now, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm just going to replicate what I see. I mentioned this in the previous episode, but I'll say it again. If you're ever unsure about what you're actually sketching, just trust your instincts and copy the patterns of what you see and stuff. Just what you need to do. Just it can get a bit disorientating, is what I mean, because God, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what it is I'm drawing, but you know. So there's a light source hitting the sketch on the right hand side, and it's washing out some of the actual detail. It is actually there still, but it's just the light on the right side, it isn't diffused at all. It's literally a direct light. Normally it works out okay, but yeah, it looks a bit washed out at the moment, so my apologies for that. I'm not entirely sure whether I notice and move the sketch to the left side or not. I can't remember, to be honest. I love this music, by the way. This is from a composer called Jeremy Soule, and it's a medley that a channel called World Vibrations put together, and it's sort of like it's a tribute to Jeremy Soule's best work, his ambient sort of calm music, as opposed to all the combat stuff that he's done. And it's such a beautiful mix. So thank you, World Vibrations. And yeah, I'm very fond of Elder Scrolls. Like a lot of people, but I was there, very, very early on in the franchise. I discovered Elder Scrolls when Morrowind was released, and I believe I played it on the PC first, and then I went to console bizarrely, but it was nothing I had ever experienced before in a game environment. It was an open world. I felt so free. The mechanics of the game meant that I couldn't just fast travel all the time. I had to work out the route, or I had to walk. I could take sort of, carriage rides or boat rides. And that was part of the experience, working out how I was going to get from A to B, preparing myself for the journey, making sure I had enough potions and stuff, and you didn't know whether you were going to make it, and I would purposefully save the game as I was about to embark, and then I wouldn't save again until I arrived. And that was a sort of a subconscious thing. And it is just like reading a graphic novel, but sort of like a motion graphic novel. You're living it. That's why I fell in love with games, because I wanted to experience another world with original characters, really good storyline, and Elder Scrolls Morrowind was that, really. I would absolutely love to see a remaster of Morrowind one day, but I don't really trust the development company anymore, Bethesda. I think Bethesda have gotten, like all the other game companies, very greedy and corporate, and they've lost the whole original idea of why games evolved into what they were before they became marketing tools, to make money out of. It was an experience. They were stories. That the single player game was king, and we need that to come back. I'm sick and tired of all these Fortnites and PUBGs and Apex Legend-y things, you know, like the PvP deathmatch shit. It's just so, you know, I've never come across a non-egregious environment. You know, no matter what I've picked up and tried to play PvP-wise, it's always just ended up being, you know, a competition. And you know, it is a competition, but I always, you know, just got annoyed, you know, because you have to be so fucking good to even get anywhere, you know. And, you know, I wouldn't say I was rubbish, but it was just like, it takes me, you know, a few more seconds to react to things sometimes, and I find it, you know, quite unfair. And usually with single-player games, I like to turn down the difficulty, just because, you know, in my late years, I'm not as sharp as I was, you know. And this is why difficulty settings are quite important with computer games, and I really don't like games that don't have a difficulty setting. Yes, I'm looking at you, Dark Souls. Miyazaki, pull your thumb out of your arse, right? Stop sniffing your own farts and make a game that everyone can enjoy. I swear to God, if Elden Ring has one difficulty setting, I'm going to be annoyed. I will probably still play it, but I will be annoyed about that, and it will definitely be a PC purchase so that I can mod it in my favour if I need to, if I feel like it's being a little bit unfair. And knowing Miyazaki, it's probably going to be a bit unfair, so we'll see. Anyway, so we're just sort of charting in some of the guide work on her shirt now. We're marking out where some of the folds are going to be, and I'll be going through it all with some smudging and shading and stuff. And I'll end up finishing off with the lettering. Now, the lettering's not the best for this one, but it you know, it's passable. It's passable. It's fine. Alright, so now we've just got to do the main bulk of the shading, right? So we're doing the base layer of the shading essentially, and we're just trying to capture that form. There's a line of darker shadowing in between them them things, boobies. And so yeah, we want to make sure we've got the shading on those right. Usually this sort of bit is kind of a bit vague and rough, you know. Don't, you know, fret if it's not proper full on accurate. I do go through again with some finer detail, and there's certain things that the big smudge stick can't deal with unless you want to do a hell of a lot of erasing afterwards. So I prefer to just sort of do the bulk bit with the big smudger, and then I'll go through now and start adding in some of the subtle shading. Okay. You can get a lot of realism with studying shadows, and when you understand that there is direct shadow, then there's the fall off from the shadow, and then there's indirect lighting from the shadow. So the the global illumination caused from the direct light. And so I basically just make sure that I've got both accurately represented. So you've got the direct fold, if it's you're dealing with cloth, and then there's the sort of the shade that follows it. And the more you do this sort of thing, the easier it gets. Using the grey pencil now because it's a lot easier to manage. So upon studying the source photo, I can see that we can just about make out a red bra underneath her top, so we'll be working that in. But it's very subtle, it's very, very subtle and faded, so we're going to be as delicate as we can here. Okay, so yeah, we are getting there. There's some more shading work to do, but it is looking very good. Alright, here's the dreaded bit. I'm no good with lettering, anything with a proper structure, like architectural drawing or anything involving straight lines or whatever, right? It's oh god, I just freak out. But this ends up turning out okay, so the issue is really that I've spent the previous sort of 6-7 years studying organic based drawing, and I haven't really sort of focused on anything architecturally. It's always just been sort of organic based shapes, hair and cloth and so on. So yeah, I mean, like, really, that's all I know. And I am consciously trying to choose things that will test me in that department. Because ultimately, I do want to be improving all the time, and with each sketch there has to be something that I need to learn about, and with this one is clearly lettering. I think it was about halfway through this when I was like, oh fuck. Okay. Please end up being all right. So if you don't know about my channel, I am a sketch artist that does portraits and things like this, you can make a request, and if I choose your request, you have an opportunity of obtaining the original. It's free postage and packaging if you're in the UK, but if not, you can get a copy of a digital copy of the artwork because you requested it. All I really ask is that you subscribe, and you can make as many requests as you like, really. I do choose 1 or 2 a month, or I try to. That's really the goal. But from as of next year, there will be a big sort of, project that I'll be working on if there aren't any requests. But, even if there aren't or are, I'll be doing that anyway, so I'm going to have to manage the time better. Alright, so working on her tummy now. I also have an Instagram page, and I have a website. I have neglected the website a little bit. It does need a little bit of work. So you can view everything that I've done on my website up to a certain point, to be honest. I don't think I've included much of the colour work, but all of my black and white work is there, should you want to peruse. Okay, so now we take in our deeper skin tone, and we start worrying about the subsurface scattering, the shading that is sort of part of it. There's 3 tones that I'm using. There's the lighter skin colour, there's the darker skin colour, which is this one, and there's a sort of a dark brown. And I use all 3. I think I end up actually using a bit of black at the end. And in fact, I don't think I use a brown at all, do I? No, I don't think I do. I think it's different for each time, to be quite honest. There's not a lot of tonal detail in the source image for this area, so I'm sort of, I'm making it up a little bit. And with comparison to the source photo, her skin is a lot more saturated in this version. So I stop at this line here. I don't sort of sketch any further apart from doing some borderline work. Simply because there's not enough time, I'm afraid. I'm looking at the clock and I'm running out rapidly. So I'm throwing in the tattoo now. And then we'll be sort of refining a few other things. And you suddenly see some, the final level of detail coming out with this pass, It's my favourite bit. Double checking all of these folds and stuff now. So yeah, the remainder of this video is just sort of finishing all that off. And if you like what you see, you know what to do. Subscribe, comment, like, all of that good stuff. It does help channels out. It really, really does. It makes such a massive difference. And it really is all that I ask. If you want to support, then just do that. So look out for the sped up feature video for this sketch. I hope you enjoyed this run as I have. It was delightful. I'll leave you with the final couple of minutes. And yeah, until the next project, I'll see you later. All right, everyone? Take care.